This 1978 Lincoln Continental town car has not driven on the roads in almost 40 years. Today, we're going to be putting it up in the air, checking it over, and doing a few repairs on it so that we can get it on the road. So stay tuned. So guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know of the little visitor we had that came up and hitchhiked from Florida. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should be. Link will be down in the description box down below. My brother-in-law, Tom, has acquired this 1978 Lincoln Continental. He picked it up in Florida a couple of weeks ago, drove down, trailered it home. It's been back here for 2 weeks now. Yeah. And, okay, I'm just going to show you this footage. So we just noticed something on this car, all the way from Florida. This little fella come up on the windshield. He's in for a big treat. How many more of him are in this car? Welcome to New Brunswick, bud. So because you saw that, you know that our little friend here is still in the car somewhere. We don't know where. We tried heat light or a little bit of heat, a little box with some grass and leaves in it to try to attract him because we found a home if we can get him out of the car. But that's not going to stop us from getting this thing up in the air, checking it over. We're going to pull the wheels off, check the brakes, change some tires, do a little bit of regular maintenance on this thing. And hopefully, if everything goes well, we might even be able to take it for a drive in this video. But first, we've got to get it over on the hoist and get it up in the air. So let's do that. We got a little clicky clack going there for a fuel pump. Fuel pump is the first thing we're going to change. Oh, battery? You've hooked up the clicky clack, but not the battery? Jeez, Tom. She runs. Yeah, we do have a power steering leak, and that is the noise you're hearing there. No backup camera on that thing. That's a typical Ford thing, I think. Power steering pump's going bad anyway. Let me know in the comments. Is that a Ford thing? Or did we break something? So as we kind of get this thing up in the air, we're just going to kind of do a quick little walk around here and see what's what, see what's leaking, what's not leaking. We know the power steering is. There, that is there. Tom's cleaned up that mess. But we also want to make sure this thing is good and dry and not rusted to pieces. This has got an aluminum front bumper. Yeah, that's a pretty good shape. So one thing I expected to see was a lot of dry rust, flash rust. That's exactly what we see. There's no scale. You can still see the paint still on the control arms here. Base pan, still got the Ford blue on it. A little bit of dry rust there on the bottom. No leak around the front main seal. Got the original catalytic converter still on it. Frame's got some undercoating or something there. Calipers are flash rusted, but no big deal. Come down the side and we got some of the original undercoating on this car. Frame rail in really good shape. Rocker panels are just like brand new. Floors just like brand new. Exhaust, other than being flash rusted, like new. Transmission tail shaft. I don't see any leaks there. Got a double U joint there. Down this side, we got trailing arms. We've got a Ford 9-inch in the front. And according to that, what's it got? 275s? If that's what that tag, 2L75. Maybe you guys down in the comments can tell me what that is. Backing plates look amazing. Tires are dry rotting pretty bad. Sitting around a lot. Stainless exhaust, tailpipe, stainless, resonator, stainless. Trunk floor in amazing condition. I would say it got undercoated a couple times in really good shape. It's got some of that factory stuff. It turns hard, but really good condition there. Again, same as the 68 Monaco. It's got a little bit of a trailer hitch system on it, so not sure what he towed, but there is a trailer hitch there attached to the frame. And if you guys don't know what the 68 Monaco is, I'm going to leave a link right up here in the corner. You guys can watch that whole series. So this is your area in the trunk. Got a little pocket in there. Usually they rot. This one here still has paint on it. I mean, look. Right there. Tires, yep, dry rot. Shocks aren't leaking. It's got not airbag suspension, but it's got helper bags for something. I forget what those are called. Come down this side and we've got, oh, they are airbag. I don't know if that's factory or not, Tom.
Oh, well, I mean, it would make sense if they were hauling a camper. Maybe
Yeah, maybe they put those in there. Maybe that's aftermarket.
Yeah.
I don't think airbag or air ride was a thing.
Oh, you know what? There is a button in there now that I...
Like a factory button?
This. No, it looks
Aftermarket, yeah, that's what I'm guessing. So there's a helper to help with the towing setup. So one other thing too on this car that I want to make note of, if you're Panther platform enthusiast at all, you know that this is not the gas tank. This is the trunk floor. The gas tank sits vertical, and here it is, between the differential and the trunk. So it goes up instead of laying flat. And that's why these cars can have such large trunk spaces, like literal 6 or 7 bodies worth of people. If you, the mafia liked it. Yeah, boys. So yeah, that went up there like that. And the sending unit was mounted from the front on the newer cars. And on this one here, it's just a gauge that slides into that little hole there.
That's a little easier than the Monaco for sure.
Well, yeah, because the Monaco, the gauge, everything is up from the top. You got to drop the tank.
Yeah.
On these cars,
I remember.
Yeah, everything's up front.
That's nice.
On my car, it's a big fuel tank unit,
okay,
or fuel pump assembly. Got a few dirt daubers there on the pumpkin.
Yeah.
As we come up here, again, this side, the frame still has paint on it. The rocker panels. And white cars are usually the first cars to show signs of rust. Tom's Monaco, being a 68, showed a little bit of rust. Yep. But this one here, basically 10, 11 years newer, 10 years newer, I guess, than the Monaco.
Well, and the thing is, too, is this, if you remember, the Monaco had that trim that went all the way around. That's what this was a signature for the 500 Monaco.
Yep.
This here,
and this
if
is
anything, it might be underneath here, but it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
At
no.
all.
And this is a town car edition, so that's where some of this trim comes into play as well. We come back up here the other side, and we've got your factory cats in 78. Of course, it was a big thing. They were trying to give these things fuel economy and tone them down. Oh, my dear God.
Yeah.
How did we not see that? Dude. Wow. We do come right back around here, and we do have some leaks coming out of the steering box. So I'm not sure where the actual problem is, if it's out of the box itself, causing it to push fluid out here, but I'm thinking we got a bad hose or something up in there. We're gonna have to figure that one out. Another thing about these cars in 78 is they didn't run a vacuum brake booster for power brakes. They used power steering fluid, Tom. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You're so full of shit. You didn't know that. We got a little box hanging down here. That's probably some sort of a charcoal canister of some sort. Even the brake lines themselves look like they're in good shape. As far as we can tell, all the brakes work. We are going to check everything over. We got front discs and rear drums. We'll pull everything apart. When I was putting this up in the air, we noticed the both front wheels had a little bit of wiggle in them. I'm thinking wheel bearings, so we might be able to tighten those up a little bit. I'm not sure what kind of setup they have on these things. Anyway, a couple of things that we need to tackle tonight are the fuel pump, because we want this thing to run on its own without the jerry can and the electric fuel pump. We also do want to do something with those tires. We've got 4. They're winter tires, but they're newer. They're probably only a couple of years old, about half worn out, which would be perfect for this, considering the great big slice we saw in this right front. And from there, we'll kind of take a look. We do have a radiator. Radiator came in today.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I'm not sure if that's a job we want to tackle tonight, but
Get the fuel pump
get the fuel pump for sure, get the tires, get the brakes checked over. And then we do have the power steering we got to figure out because it's leaking. Radiator's leaking. We did notice some mice chewing on the heater hoses going into the firewall, so we'll have to fix that. But it's all minor stuff. This is just age stuff from the car sitting. We hope to get that fixed up. But our goal is, at the very least, to be able to drive this car on the highway in this video. Granted, it might not be tonight, but that is the goal. So we can do that with a leaky radiator. We can do that with leaky power steering fluid, because we're just going to top it up and drive it. But anyways, got a few things to do. Fuel pump first.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Little tomboy getting ahead of me here.
I know. Sorry.
Got his bitch mittens on though.
I know.
So this is the fuel pump on the front of this big 460. No, is it a 460?
Yeah.
Yeah, 460. So it's just a couple of bolts to come out of there. 2 lines. One is your, I believe, feed line into the pump, and then your supply line to the carburetor is that metal line. So once we get that out, we can just pop the new one in there and be golden. Before we take that off, Tom, did you check to see if that metal line would come loose? Because it's easier to get it loose when the fuel pump's attached.
Should already be loose because I just had it off.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's tight again.
Anyways, we'll get that off and get ready to put the new one in.
Just give it to me, Jason. Like you said.
So we're trying to put this fuel pump in there, and it's shaped different than the one that came out. So we can't get a socket on it because the fuel pump is in the way. Tom insists that he needs the extension to try and make it work. So here you go, Tom.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Well, let's see how you do there, bud.
You moved the light.
Excuse me?
You moved the light.
Oh, is that going to be your excuse for it not working?
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah,
Sorry, Siri.
That's right, Siri.
Siri doesn't understand me either.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right?
Oh,
'Cause
what?
the fuel
You what
pump's
now?
different.
You what? What's that now, Tom?
'Cause there's a little
Oh, I see. I see.
Whatever.
I see.
Take that. I told you the first time.
So what I told him was we need a ratchet wrench. Here's what we're up against. The red hose is in the way on this side on the bottom, and that power steering bracket's in the way on the top side. So I'm thinking the outer one on the left is probably going to be a little bit easier, but it's that one on the right that's going to be a pain in the...
Yeah, one of those hinge ratchets.
Might just see if we get a wobble socket. We can make something work here. We'll get her. So we're still struggling with this thing. We got the left-hand side one started. We can get a straight ratchet up in there. But the crow's foot, we can get it on, but we got no leverage. The engine block's right in the way. Good thing this isn't a side of the road job. I wonder if we took the oil filter out of there, got it out of the way, if we can kind of get up in behind there somehow.
That's the next thing. Let's try her. I'll have to drain the oil out of it. Might as well give it an oil change right here.
All right, let's get the oil filter off. Yeah, so we're gonna get this oil filter off, and boys and girls, she's a blue light special.
Kmart.
We got the Kmart filter. That wasn't put on there yesterday. Geez, there's your problem, Tom. She got no oil in her. Kmart.
Kmart.
Oil filter. Save that one.
Wall art.
Wall art. Exactly. Ever in my life have I seen a Kmart oil filter.
There you go.
K1. Well, that's out of the way. Let's see what we can get done here. So after we put our two brains together, we figured if we used a bent, slimmed 14 wrench, we could get in there most of the way. And then a 1/4 inch drive, we could get it in there on half sideways and kind of screw it on. And we got her clicked to the proper...
Pounds. Was it 20 pounds?
I don't know what it is, something like that. My arms told me it was tight, so. All right, now we got to do is replace this fuel line and then get this one here hooked back up. Choke on my own spit. And hopefully we can get this thing running again. All right, so we got the hard line fastened in, and that tells me it's time for a break. Where's your drink?
It's empty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we got to fix that. If you guys want your very own beer koozie from Olde Carr Guy, you can get one for free. All you got to do is go to my website, shop.oldecarguy.com, pick up your very own beer koozie for free. And the way to do that is you've got to order a t-shirt, ball cap, koozie, stickers, and I'll throw one in for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, not even any... Can't throw me one?
Oh, I can throw you one.
Okay.
I mean, after all, I'm helping you work on your car.
And I'm helping you get viewers.
Yes, you are. So you can use promo code OCG15. You'll get 15% off that order. And when the order comes through that it's paid, I will send out a free beer koozie. So that's how you do that. OCG15 on till the end of the month. 15% off your order. So shop now. Oh, yeah. Saved by the bell. Thinks he knows what he's doing. Oh, you got to take that phone call.
Chambers lawyer's office. I've never heard the name before.
All right, so we've got a piece of hose going from the fuel pump hard line, the front of the motor, up to the carburetor. And everything's tight downstairs. The battery hooked up, the electric fuel pump is disconnected. So now we just got to crank on this thing. We'll spray a little bit of helper fluid to get it to run so that that pump will pump and do its thing. Suck it in, fatty.
Working on that.
I'm one to talk.
Not very Canadian.
Gonna take a lot of cranking, I think. Not as much cranking as I thought. All right, we're gonna shut her down, see if we can find out what's wrong with this power steering pump, find the leak, and we'll go back from there. So just touch it again, see if it'll go. So we took this sheath off of this big line here, and we filled it back up full of power steering. So we're hoping that it should start spraying out somewhere so we can see where it's leaking. Go ahead, Tom, start her up. Okay, whoa. Turn the wheel. There it is. Okay. Yep. Tom's so excited to get this thing out of here, we haven't even moved the hoist arms out yet. Now he's got his side. Headlights are working, park lights are working, and we know that the four-way or the high beam switch is probably not working great because it was kind of flashing off and on a little bit. But all the lights seem to be lit up. What a beast. And quiet. Like, that's not the type of car that you bought and hot rodded necessarily back in the day. It was the smooth, quiet, comfort ride that everywhere you went, people were looking because you were driving class. Stalled?
Yeah.
I know what's wrong with it.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Gas gauge work?
Can't
see.
Yeah, it says empty. But I only did put 5 gallons.
It'll burn that out fairly quickly. It could just be sloshed around in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure all that old stuff in there, that barn.
Well, it'll mix. Now, somebody in the comments of the last video asked if we were going to be cleaning out the gas tank. Well, the gas tank seemingly was empty. So we did dump 5 gallons in it, and it's been running okay. And right now it just stalled. I think it's just because there's so little in it. Let's get some gas into it there at some point once we get the tires changed, and we'll be able to take it down the road and pump some high test fuel into it. Might just need to adjust that idle up too on that carburetor. So. What a beauty. Gonna have to 2-foot it. Do you want to pump or dump the rest of that gas in it?
Yeah, why not?
From that jug?
Yeah.
All right, folks, this is a good time to plug the gas t-shirts. Get your very own shop.oldecarguy.com. And that's up to about there, so there's probably another couple gallons anyway. You handle that, Nancy? Steering all right?
Yeah, you can definitely feel the tires where they're ready to freaking
Oh yeah,
pop
that
off.
right front one there
You
just.
can feel the stuff.
Well, we did manage to get the fuel pump into her. We did not change the fuel filter. Carburetor could be gummed up. Who knows? Maybe we took a chance on not cleaning out the gas tank and failed. I don't know. Anyways, it'll run. We got to get those tires changed, and we got to get that power steering line fixed before we can drive it. Even though we said we were going to drive it this video, we'll still make it happen. We'll come back in a few days when we get the parts, get them changed out, and take this thing for a rip up the road, see how she works. So we're back at it here tonight, working on the Lincoln, and the goal here is to get the radiator and that power steering line replaced. Hopefully it's not too much trouble, because the way this started here tonight was we had to push this 4,500 pound beast in by hand because, well, the friggin' thing wouldn't start. It's been sitting outside for the last couple of weeks, and everything underneath here was quite damp. You can see some dampness on the hoses there. We sprayed down and cleaned up the distributor. We do have spark, just really not sure why it's not firing. At the end of the day, it should be pretty simple to get this radiator out. We'll get the shroud and everything out of the way, and we'll start unplugging things. Transmission cooler lines are going into it as well. And once we get the rad out of the way, it should make it a little easier to trace down where this broken hose goes for the power steering. So we're just waiting for Tom to show up, late as usual. But anyways, we'll get this thing started here. Seems as though we're at it again, trying to get that lower rad hose off. And I told Tom I just, I couldn't get it from that angle. And he's like, well, let me try. Can we get some of them faces there, bud? How you making out there, bud?
Well, if you use a screwdriver.
Oh, you like I was using, you mean?
I don't. Is that on video?
Yeah.
I don't see you getting it on video. Oh, wait, there's a screwdriver. Something's right there.
Oh, imagine that. We try a screwdriver like Jason was trying the first time. Boys, oh boys, you're awful hard to work with here.
Hey, listen.
The sooner you realize I'm right all the time, the sooner you'll realize how easy things will go.
Oh, boy.
Your face is red there, bud. So just so you know what we're up against here. Can't see nothing. Lower rad hose is here. Shroud's in the way. Transmission cooler lines are in the way.
The green.
Well, that green stuff is just the antifreeze that's leaked out over all the years. All we got to do is get that hose loosened off. That's why we're trying to use the hook end here.
You did
And
loosen the... Okay.
really?
Okay. Okay.
Really, Tom? Anyways, we're going to see if we can mess with that and get that hose off there.
Settle down. Settle down. Come on, let's pretend it's the first time. I know it's not. When you do your videos and everything, I know it's not. So
Mine's pretty authentic.
but it's made in China.
Is it? Is that where the China flu came from?
Yeah, it's really China.
All right, so we've got to bring this down, compare it to the old one. Just from what I can see, everything looks good, and the lower rad hose is in the right spot. The transmission cooler lines are in the right spot. We're gonna have to get those fittings off, Tom.
Yeah.
To hold her, you're dumping shit out of there.
Okay. Settle down.
You're still dumping. Come on now.
Oh, stop holding on to it.
And this is an aluminum, and it's exactly, I think, what we need. Less the corrosion. It's got the peacock down there, Tom.
Yeah, the petcock.
Yeah.
You said it wrong.
Yes, I did. Just repeating what I heard from the professionals.
Yep.
But yeah, that's going to be good. We've got those clips. These ones here are built into the rad to hold the shroud. And this kit actually comes with new ones, which are going to clip right into here to help hold that shroud in place. So I think I did good on this one. I ordered the right one.
Good, you did good.
Okay, so let's get these clips on for the shroud. We'll get the shroud back in place, and we'll start reassembling this part of it.
Okay. I thought it was a...
Is it just me, or does like everything take longer with someone who's left-handed?
I mean, it's possible.
I'm gonna have to bleep
I
that
knew
out.
you were recording.
20 hours later.
Do you want this?
Tom, I swear to God, you spill one more drop of antifreeze on my floor.
Well, oh yeah. You like that? Yeah, you like that. You'd have to edit that somehow.
Oh no, that's gold right there, boys and girls.
That's how we do it.
This is how we roll.
I dig the dirt, I dump the dirt. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get these threaded back into the new one and get ready to drop that back into place. Okay, so Tom's got that lower rad hose all cleaned up where we had a bunch of transmission fluid spilling on it. We got our rubber pieces back into place, so we're going to set that new radiator down in there and get things hooked back up, which unfortunately means we've either got to take the fan off to make room or put the shroud back in place to make everything harder to work at so that we can drop that radiator back in there.
I concur.
Set that shroud down in there, Tom, the right way. Look at you. Mr. Smarty Pants.
I know, it's what I do.
Oh yeah, you like it like that?
I do. You like that?
So it's just got to go back against the fan for now.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just slide the radiator down in there.
Okay.
So Tom's getting that lower radiator hose clamp all buttoned up down in there. And Tom, you were just saying, because I wasn't recording earlier, you took that rag. What'd you do with the rag? And what were you expecting it to do? Magnetically stick to the hood of the car, because if we were over at my shop, we'd be using high quality, veteran owned MAGRAGs. We got to support our veterans. And Tom, if you guys didn't know, Tom is a veteran. So thank you for your service there, Mr. Tom.
Yep.
So MAGRAGs, that's what they do. They got a little magnet sewn into the corner. They stick to anything metal, so that when you need your rag, it's right where you left it. So it's easy to find, as opposed to it dropping there or down in where, you know, it could get consumed by the vehicle. All right, so everything's tight over here. Now we've got to take that fan shroud and manipulate it back. It's going to be a little difficult. Airplane mode, Tom, when we're recording, okay?
My bad.
We got to manipulate that back into place. It's going to be a little bit difficult because the upper rad hose is on. Maybe we should have left that. But these transmission lines are now in place, so they may be a little bit of a problem. So you want to maneuver that, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, yeah.
No, other way. It's got to go with the sticker side up there, bud. Good help. It's hard to find.
Tell me you turn it the wrong way.
Careful, you're not going to pull those clips off that hold it in place. There you go. There you go. So now you've got to, you got to lift it up. So pull this back. You got to lift it up. No, now you've done it. So you see those brass tabs down there?
Yeah.
Oh, you did mess that one up over there.
You put it in wrong.
No, I did not.
You put it in wrong. It's backwards.
No, you just got to push down on it and fix it, Tom.
Yeah, skiddy arms. Yeah, I see what it does.
Yeah, so just lift up on the shroud.
Yeah. That fan, that dang fan. Got that side there. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to bend that out a little bit.
No, here,
Huh?
I can do it. I can show you. I can show you how to do it, buddy.
Give me your camera. Give me your camera. You show me.
I'll show you there, Mr. Big Guy. After I straighten out this piece that you messed up. Oh, radiator sharp. That one.
You see how this one here, it's bumped out a little bit? That side over there, I think, needs to be pushed out a little, just a little bit for
No,
it to...
that one's in. This one
That
here.
side over there?
Yeah, there
Okay.
it is. See, she's in now.
Oh.
So now what we got to do is there's a couple of clips over there that screws into place.
You know what you say there? You go, big brain.
Yeah. I think I lost my quarter-inch drive ratchet down in there forever.
You got a magnet, though. I can get that from underneath.
Can
Be
now?
surprised what I can do with my fingers.
Can you now?
Let me do it.
That's what she said.
Oops, stop.
Hang on, hang on. Don't move anything.
Get the magnet.
Get the big magnet. Let me lift this up a little bit. There he goes.
Big brain.
Big brain. You see how that works?
I did.
Okay. So now we've got to get the shroud back, or not the shroud, but the there's 2 screws that go into here that hold that into that from the back side and hold that shroud onto the radiator. And then we've got this big piece here that holds the radiator onto the rad support. So let's get that done. All right, so the shroud is in place. The radiator support that holds it tight to the core support here, that's in. Everything seems to fit good. There doesn't seem to be any issues that way. So I think we're ready to start dumping some coolant and water mixture into that. Granted, we didn't drain out everything that was in the engine because we just didn't. So there's 2 things that we can do, Tom. We can wait till we get the car up in the air and
I got a fuel filter with me.
see if there's, we don't even know if this thing's going to start. Because we went to bring it in, we had to push it in because it was flooding out, not getting any spark or something. Everything was damp, like I showed you before. So we should see if it's going to run, just for the sake of circulating the coolant.
Yeah.
If it's not going to run, there's no sense putting any coolant in it right now.
Well, let's put water in it, and then we'll put.
We don't want to put water in it.
Huh?
I don't want to put water in it.
Well, we can put the petcock in it or drain it out afterwards.
Right, but in the meantime, it's got to park outside. We don't want water in it if it's going to freeze, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, hook the battery back up, and we'll see if we can get this thing to start quickly. Okay? This is where you hook the battery back up.
My bad.
Now let's see if this thing will start. Yeah, she's going to start. It's dried out.
What did it do before?
Just crank and crank and crank and crank and crank and crank and crank. It would
Nothing.
no cough, no choke, nothing. All right, so
let's do it.
we'll get some antifreeze put in her and get this thing lit up. So what we're using here is this spill-proof radiator filler. And the whole concept behind these, if you don't know, is that when it's sealed here, you can dump antifreeze into it. And once it gets up to temperature and it starts burping out all the air, it's got a plug. You plug it in like so, and then you can just kind of take out the remaining antifreeze that's here, seal it off, away you go. If you guys are interested in one of these things, they're a great tool. I'll have it linked to my Amazon. I'll have it linked to my Amazon affiliate down in the description box below. Hey Tom, you want to learn a life lesson? How to pour that without it glugging? Turn it on its side, or just dump it in. Which you're spewing it all over the place and making a mess.
I didn't know it leaks.
Hey, good job.
Done that. You can't.
Friggin' Ford.
Moo.
Any gas in it?
Ain't no gas.
So while we were bringing this thing up to temperature, we noticed a bunch of black crud coming up into the canister. I kind of sopped it all up with this piece of toilet paper. She's pretty black and oily. So I don't know if that means we got a head gasket issue or if it just needs to be flushed out. So we're going to let this thing cool down, drain the antifreeze out of it, and this time we'll put some water in it, like Tom suggested to begin with, because he said let's just put it in to see if it comes up temperature, make sure we got no leaks, which we don't. But I said let's save a step and put the antifreeze in. And now that we've got this, I'm thinking it's probably time to flush it out a few times with just some water and see if we can't get this crap from stopping. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you gotta do head gaskets on this thing. It's just a big job, that's all. So I'm not sure if you can hear it, but she's spitting and sputtering and she's choking up a little bit. I think what this thing needs is a cap, rotor, plugs and wires. Probably before we go too much further. Yeah. So I think we got to do that before we can drive it the way it's running. And that carburetor, the idle set screw is seized up. So we'll have to, I sprayed some penetrating fluid on it. We'll have to see if we can get that loosened up so we can set the idle. But otherwise it's just barely idling. It'll run at about 500 RPM. That's not enough. So that's the next step, I guess, is figure out the power steering line, some sort of a repair there, but a good tune-up. Cap and rotor, plugs, wires, and a fuel filter. So that'll be next on the agenda. Okay, so I don't know where we left off with this Lincoln Continental, but Tom's here, and the last thing that we really got to do to this is this power steering line that's been giving us some trouble. It's been spewing fluid. And because this car has Hydro Boost, it's affecting the brakes as well. So we're gonna get this line replaced, and hopefully once that's done, we'll be able to get this thing on the road, take it for its first drive in
1986.
1986. So get her on the road, let this sucker float down the road. So I don't know how much recording we're going to do, but we've got to get the line off up here, get the car up in the air, get it off at the Hydro Boost, and then start replacing it. So let's get it done. All right, so we got the car up in the air, and what's your problem? Huh? Are you freaking out about the stupid friggin' rag or what? What's wrong with it?
It ain't a MAGRAG.
If you guys don't know what a MAGRAG is, they're your common everyday red rags that you use when you're working on cars, and they got a little magnet sewn in the corner. So you can just kind of hook it up to anything magnetic, and it's always hanging there instead of Tom having to bend his fat ass over and pick it up off the floor. Anyways, MAGRAGs is a link down in the description box down below. So Tom's just taking the nut out of the retainer clip that holds the hose on from down here. And then somehow we've got to get up into there, into the darkness, and disconnect the line as it goes into the Hydro Boost. So we followed that line up to right there on the top of the Hydro Boost, so it's pretty easy. So now we got to make sure everything is disconnected on the line so that it would just pull out, and then we can run the new one up. And then we're done.
Then we're done.
Okay, so as Tom gets ready to pour some power steering fluid in the reservoir, we've got the new line run up here. We've got it connected here to the Hydro Boost. And I was telling Tom that I hate doing this type of work, anything to do with lines and fluids, because, well, your hands are always going to be covered in grease and slime. Yeah, shut up. And it's difficult to, you know, hold your tools and this and that. And you get a few extra curse words in there that you really didn't need from the beginning. We're going to fill this thing up with power steering fluid. It's going to take a little bit more because it's got to run that whole line. Fill that. And with any luck, Tom, that brake light should go out.
That'd be nice.
So what we got to do now is start this thing up. Make sure we don't have any leaks. Because if we do, it's going to be here at this fitting or there at that fitting. So, how full are we?
It's full. It needs to be turned on.
Okay. So you want me to do that?
Yeah, well, you're right there.
Yeah, give me attitude.
Good better. Good better.
I'm helping him and he's giving me lip. So, did it suck it down?
No.
Okay. So what do we got to do to fix that?
Turn the steering wheel.
And?
Put the foot on the brake.
Right. Pitter patter.
You're getting mouthy.
So when Tom puts his foot on the brake and turns the power steering, in theory we should hear that power steering pump whine away a little bit, sucking in that fluid. There she goes. Okay, shut it off for a sec. Just because if I pour this in, attempt to pour it in while it's running, that fan is going to blow it all over the place. Make a real big mess. Or a fun video. All right, go ahead.
On?
That red light is the brake light. She's still on. So we'll keep working away at it here for a few minutes. No leak there. No leak there. Let that circulate through. Get any air out that might be in the hydro boost. I don't know if those are supposed to be bled or not. But we've got no more leaking, which is a good thing because that means now we should be able to at least drive this thing down the road. And Tom's getting pretty excited. One of the things that is a pain in the butt is because it's now December, it gets dark at like 4 o'clock and salt trucks have been out. So this thing has never seen salt, never seen snow until it got snowed on there 2 or 3 days ago. We had a little bit of a storm and it's a Florida car. So we don't want to get this thing out on the wet roads. We want to make sure the roads are dry. So if we can get this situated so that the brake light is out, then we should be able to take this thing out maybe tomorrow afternoon, Tom. Come over in the afternoon when the roads are dry. And that way we can get some good video of it driving down the road too. Fair?
Fair enough.
All right, so we decided it was brake time and we've got that line on. We're getting ready to set this thing off the lift. And we're going to start by taking it for a cruise around the parking lot, Tom. But before we do that, I see you're sporting a nice new beer koozie. Where'd you get that?
Well, I got that from shop.oldecarguy.com.
Almost like it was rehearsed.
I want to be the fluffy pancake guy from the Dysarts.
If you guys are from upper Midwest Maine or whatever, and you guys know what Dysarts is, you know exactly what he's talking about. So anyways, we're going to take a little bit of a break and spin this thing around the parking lot a few times just to test those brakes out, make sure everything feels good. If it does, we might send her up the highway for a bit. We do have to find some wipers for this thing. Once we get this thing so that it's actually drivable and we're comfortable with it, Tom has got to take it home because it can't stay outside here all winter. He's got a spot in his garage to store it for the winter, so it's out of the Maine weather, which means I assume you're going to drive it home. Is that the plan?
Oh, that's the plan.
Yeah. So
you'll pick me up at the bridge tomorrow.
yeah. What's that?
You'll pick me up at the bridge tomorrow.
Yeah. So we'll figure something out, and that way he can get this thing home and get it in storage so that it's ready to go in the spring.
All right.
Go for a cruise, get her cleaned up. Junior did say he was going to clean it up for you, did he?
Yep.
Yep. So that'll be probably a springtime project once everything's done, and get some of that old mold that's in there cleaned up. Anyways, we're going to get this thing off the ground, but not before we have a beer about it. So I'm noticing when he puts the foot on his brake, this one here, the car lifts up on this side, tells me that this one might not be grabbing as good as we want it to. But he's going to take it for a spin around the building a time or two and see how them brakes feel. And if it's everything's good, we'll take her for a rip down the road. D for drive, Tom. I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it. It sounds to me like she's running quite low on the idle, and we're gonna have to see if we can fix that up. Seems like she's idling quite low.
Yeah, the alternator light has come on too.
Alternator light?
Yeah.
Well.
Come on, okay.
Huh?
Okay.
I'm gonna drive?
You are. First trip on the open road. I feel like a movie's coming.
Might have to 2-foot this. So we're not going to go too far, just down this way a little bit, and then we'll come back and slowly stretch our legs, because if this thing runs out of gas, we don't want to be.
We don't want to be that guy.
Now it's got second gear.
Yeah.
There's
Third.
Yep, she seems to work okay. According to the speedo,
What's the speedo at?
50.
There you go.
So I told you by the end of this video we'd have this thing on the road, taking her for a little rip. And here we are, doing 50 down the road. I don't know if the signal lights are working or not, but we are going to turn around.
The brakes are working.
Brakes are working.
That's a good thing.
Are we in a low light situation? Is it picking things up all right?
It's picking up okay.
So the brake light is still on. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure it's something to do with the fact that we might have some air in the lines. Yep, and we just stalled. And we have no idea how much gas is in this thing.
Maybe a half gallon.
And this thing gets like 7 miles to the gallon. Let's see if we can make her back to the shop at least. Hammer down.
Jeez. Rides like a boat.
Yeah, it does. But you got to be happy with that, Tom.
Very happy.
We'll, before we take off to Calais, or before you take off, I think gas
Is a must.
Is your first stall.
I agree.
This thing is long. Yeah, she doesn't like that low idle.
Just got to be adjusted, I'm sure. That's
mean-
all it is.
It probably doesn't help that it's about 28 degrees out right now.
Right.
I mean, it should be warmed up plenty. There is no temperature gauge on this thing, so we don't know if it's running hot or cold. That's something that we will address. We'll put some gauges on it,
For sure.
just so we can keep an eye on things.
Turbo.
Turbo,
Yeah.
Quadra steer,
Yeah.
all-wheel drive,
Yeah. Low ride.
oh yeah, hydraulics.
Oh yeah.
Old
Bump,
school.
bump, bump.
Bump, bump.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go, guys. That's the 78 Lincoln Continental. First drive in 38 years. Pretty impressed with that. So as we walk around this car here in the dark, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you hit the first link in the description box down below. That is my merchandise store where you can get your very own beer koozie at shop.oldecarguy.com. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, help support the channel rather than just watching these videos the way that you guys do, which you do very well, by the way. Thank you so much for all the views, and we're on our way to 50,000 subscribers. So stay focused on the windshield, not the rear view mirror. I love you guys. God bless. Let's do it again in the next episode. There he goes, folks. A little cold-blooded. No maker.